I want to just kick things off with just a quick little intro to me. So I'm Darren Taplin. I'm a project professional of about 25 years experience looking at portfolio management in a number of FTSE 100 companies. I set up Maxica Consulting Limited 8 years ago to extend this knowledge into other areas and other businesses, and we've been very successful in doing that. And as Joel's already said, we've worked together on a number of projects as well. So let's jump into the topic. So, easy question to kick us off. What does the acronym PMO stand for? Pretty simple. Project Management Office? Or is it a Program Management Office? Or does it stand for Portfolio Management Office? So the P in PMO is confusing, and hence leads to different people expecting different things. When these expectations are not met, then the PMO is not providing value. However, the situation in the real world is more complicated, as each PMO can be directive, collaborative, or supportive. And therefore you end up with a blended approach being adopted to what the PMO actually does. So it may be a supportive to projects and programs and directive at a portfolio level, or perhaps programs are not recognised at all and the role falls to being collaborative at project and portfolio level. So here lies the problem in the value proposition for a PMO. To address the proliferation of permutations of PMOs found in the real world situation, Maxica have decomposed the PMO into micro-activities. Micro-activity is a single function that may or may not be undertaken by a particular PMO. In our example, we've identified 20 micro-activities, which range from driving business case, portfolio reviews, to data cleansing and financials. However, unless you have a large and complex PMO hierarchy environment, it's unlikely that all of these will be in scope of your PMO. So a pick and mix type option is the logical way forward. As each activity represents a function of a PMO, which may or may not be undertaken or required in an organisation, the need is driven by the PMO maturity level and the PMO vision of what the target end state of the PMO will be. Hence, at a portfolio level, it might cover these activities, which include demand management, benefit realisation, strategic alignment, all directly aligned to portfolio level value. In a less mature or simply a differently focused PMO, you may be more inclined to look at project approval boards, resource planning, go to green reviews to improve the project landscape. Or indeed, the PMO may just be looking at the core project management disciplines, such as templates, project controls, reporting. All can add value if resourced and executed correctly. The point here is that there is no single version of the truth, and what is written in a textbook as a PMO model rarely translates accurately into the real world. This is why it's so important to state what your PMO is aiming to achieve and communicate what it will and what it will not be doing. Whatever the mix, the following is true. Projects and programs are operational PMOs and focus on doing things right. And portfolio PMOs are strategic and focus on doing the right things. As doing things right is a given, the perception of value occurs at the portfolio level, because that is where the business owners and executive see it helping to realise the strategic goals and in turn making the business more profitable. Now, project portfolio management has been around for a long time. It's not new or particularly difficult to understand the overarching concepts. In essence, it is simply prioritising work to maximise what can be achieved with a finite amount of money and resource. Unfortunately, project portfolio management is seen by many as the starting point. In fact, this couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, PPM is the result of numerous other factors being successfully in place to provide the mechanism for this to be achieved. PPM is therefore the tip of the iceberg. It's the bit which is highly visible, yields the greatest results, and achieves the biggest pat on the back. So naturally, everybody wants to focus on this important element. However, as with a real iceberg, the majority of the PPM is below the waterline in the dark, murky depths of programs and projects within the details of these investments, such as project plans, risk registers, program and project boards and reporting. This is where successful project portfolio management needs to start, and this is the failing of many when starting on the PPM journey. For project portfolio management to be truly effective, the capabilities of the business and support teams, IT, facilities, HR, legal, etc., need to be understood and mapped against a maturity scale. Capability-based investment strategy based on enterprise architecture or alike can then provide investment guidance on where capabilities are lacking, or indeed where capabilities are strong and can be leveraged. The primary point here is that PPM is about making strategic investment decisions. Hence, the PPM process needs to be integrated into the organisational strategy. This, in turn, creates a fundamental entry barrier, as many project teams and the strategic decision makers are segregated by several layers of management, and in some cases, different business divisions. Nevertheless, to yield impressive results, this chasm must be breached. However, all is not lost. This cannot be achieved from the outset. PPM requires organisational change management to be deployed across the business. This in itself is a change programme and one that should be driven by Project Portfolio Management Office. The standard change management principles apply in that it takes people, processes and technology to make a successful change. The hardest one of these to change is culture, and people. This therefore represents 70% of the change problem. However, we frequently see imbalances with processes and tools without people maturity, creating alienation and underutilised systems. People and tools without processes manifest in itself as chaotic, confusion and poor customer service. And people and processes without tools delivering frustration and cost inefficiencies. All of these can act as a change inhibitors, as this impacts the project community directly, resulting in chaos, alienation and frustration. This can establish a negative culture with the PMO and provides little motivation for change. Needless to say, the sweet spot to the art of making change happens when all of these elements are progressed and matured together, making change manageable, useful and practical. However, the cornerstone of successful PMO is people. Hence, it's largely about changing hearts and minds. The PMO must therefore view the change from the end user's point of view and demonstrate the benefit from those being subjected to the change. Fundamentally, it needs to positively answer the question, what is in it for me? If there is value to the individual in changing, then they will promote it themselves without the need for a carrot and stick encouragement. Therefore, you need to identify the different drivers for the various actors in the organisation and focus on what is important to them. For example, let's look at reporting. What does each role in a portfolio want? So let's look from the bottom upwards. Project manager. In reporting, we'll get a template or maybe automatic reporting, which reduces time being spent on reporting and gives them more time to manage the issues. So there's value. Project executive or sponsor may have a number of reports they need to look at. So common reporting will put all the information in the same place, making it easier to highlight where help is required. Portfolio manager gets comparable metrics across the portfolio of projects, ensuring that value return will be met, or indeed can identify where a project needs to be killed. The project portfolio office gets that holistic view across single or multiple portfolios to provide aggregated reporting and trend analysis. And the portfolio sponsor gets the overall snapshot of the portfolio health, trend analysis, and maybe the top 5 or 10 investments. So we can answer the value question at each level. And if we can do that, then we're going to drive the change forward. Portfolio PMOs are an aggregation of information from various project investments in an organisation. It therefore follows that projects are the foundation of all of this data. Project management has improved considerably in particularly the IT industry. However, some elements of poor or optimistical judgment are still being made, such as project management is a professional full-time job. If you want a professional output, put an experienced project manager on your projects. It is common to see a technical person or an available person to be in charge of a project, but this creates a false economy. It escalates costs, timelines drift, and objectives are missed. If your projects don't have experienced PMs leading them, place them on hold until they do. Lots of organisations have a corporate project methodology. Someone has taken the time to write the company's approach to project management, a significant positive step in the right direction. However, there are 3 areas of common failure. Writing it doesn't mean it will be followed. A number of compliance tactics are needed to be deployed to ensure that existing and new employees and contractors are following the manual. Harmonisation of the methodology needs to be undertaken between regions and departments and divisions so that a common lexicon is established. Duplication and or methodology overlaps are removed or minimised. And the methodology needs to be continuously improved as the business matures and experience is gained. Failure to do so will bring the methodology into disrepute. Programme and project boards are established to provide strategic and operational guidance to the programme and project managers at regular intervals in the project. The board have the accountability for the success of the project, while the PM has the responsibility. However, many boards lack the engagement, skills, authority and time to act in this capacity. As with non-professional PMs running the day-to-day activities of a project, a poorly skilled or attended project board will have a similar effect. It is always worth asking the question, if the project yields a result for the project board, but they're not interested in the project, is the project worth doing? The answer is probably no. So counsel it and save everyone's time, money and resources. Optimise your portfolio. The purpose of a PMO is to become a trusted partner in the project community. Any PMO that sets itself apart from the project community will alienate themselves and become ill-informed of the truth of the project status. Terms such as PMO police, governing, regulators are all warning signs that the PMO approach is wrong according to their customers, the project community. If the PMO can establish a non-blame, non-threatening relationship with project practitioners, then information will start to flow more freely, helping supporting, working together to address challenges yields better results for everybody. After all, we're all much more likely to give that little extra for a friend than when we are mandated to do something. Training, coaching and mentoring PMs is therefore paramount to success. It ensures that struggling PMs are helped in a timely fashion. Key performance indicators that make up management information are correct, and it empowers everyone to contribute to the project maturity process. However, this model only works if the PMO staff are experienced professionals and are respected as such within their organisation. Project portfolio management is an independent skill to project and programme management. The need to collaborate with business leaders, IT leaders, demand managers, portfolio managers, programme and project managers is an enormous communication challenge. Everyone wants different things and believes what they have is the best. The portfolio office needs to be politically aware, stakeholder focused, as well as being able to sell the correct messages to enable harmonization. The basic management information data requirements need to be developed in terms of strategic alignment, risk, cost, benefits for all investments, demand and projects in a portfolio. Applying this consistently and repeatedly in the organisation on all in-flight and proposed projects is more of a challenge. Once ranking is established, the human decision-making element of the senior leadership team can take over and sanitise the balance, the final portfolio list of projects. However, it is always easier to do this once the mandatory projects and the low yield projects have been ring-fenced and removed from the decision-making process. Interestingly, one of the very early quick wins of project portfolio management comes when all of the demand and project information is consolidated into one place, be it Excel or a PPM tool. Suddenly, duplication of projects and effort becomes glaringly obvious, along with synergy benefits of the same problem being solved in two different ways in a single organisation. When it is made so obvious, the decision to do something about it is easy. The first triumph for the project portfolio management team in front of the senior leadership team, and costs no more than some good structure, process and communication from some skilled portfolio management resources, and of course our trusted and loyal friend, Excel. High quality PPM starts in the trenches with the project managers and project management processes. PPM is not a sprint, it requires consistent effort to provide an organisational change which is supported by the project community, not imposed on them. The quality of the project data is directly responsible for the credibility of the portfolio office and the portfolio metrics, so it has to be right. The information is going before business leaders who are well versed in spotting oddities, so make sure the metrics are right and supported with empirical data. PMOs need to have high caliber, seasoned professionals in post. Likewise, all projects should be managed by experienced PMs. The PMO and PMs must build a solid non-blame relationship and work with each other to gain positive results. If the project fails, the whole organisation fails, not just the project team. Although PPM maturity can take time, it does not preclude enormous benefits being leveraged in the short or medium term. It is common for businesses to make significant cost savings in removing duplication and improving synergies by simply having a comprehensive list of all the projects in one place. My final word is seeing is believing. So showcase the portfolio using real investments so the executive stakeholders can see what they could be getting, and remember to tailor messages to focus on what is important to them. Thank you.